Welcome. Welcome. All right. We are
Hello.
definitely live. I see us now on Facebook. Oh, hold on. And my audio is on. All right. There we go. There we go. That's the beauty of live video. Um, hello, EntreArchitect community. Bryon and I just wanted to jump in here real quick. We just, a couple hours ago, announced a new program. We finished up the masterclass. From overwhelm to optimized masterclass. I would say it was a huge success. We had over 450 people register for the masterclass. Had a great session after the masterclass in the ArchOS lab with about 40 people showing up every day. And at the end of the masterclass today, we announced a new program, the next step, right? We have the masterclass and then the lab, and the next step is the EntreArchitect ArchOS Business Accelerator. And so what's the ArchOS Business Accelerator? That is an intensive, right? That's when you really want to go deep. We launched a new program called the EntreArchitect University. The ArchOS is the architecture firm operating system that the university is based on. And there's 6 parts. There's planning, there's promotion, there's sales, serve, operations, and profit. I think that's 6. And this first masterclass and the ArchOS is the first one, planning. And so we announced at the end of the masterclass a couple of hours ago, the blueprint for success, strategic planning for small firm architects. It's 3 weeks, starting Monday. If you want to learn more about it, it's architectbusinessschool.com/plan. You can learn more about it. But I wanted to jump on here with my friend Bryon, who is going to teach the program. Rave reviews with the masterclass. Thank you, Bryon. Fantastic job. I had mentioned earlier in the masterclass session that you have set a very high bar for every session that comes after it. But we're going to do this workshop, 3-week workshop on strategic planning. So I wanted to jump in here and ask you, what is strategic planning and why is it important to small firms?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great question. And I think it's one that, we kind of assume what strategic planning is sometimes. I think we all have our assumptions, but I think what strategic planning really is, it's an answer to a very important question. How am I going to move my firm forward intentionally, purposefully in the direction that I want to go? And I think, what we talk about as marketers, helping architects, is we want to help our clients create momentum. And I don't think this is talked about enough in the in the business world, or certainly in the architecture communities. Like, how do we create momentum and how do we sustain momentum, right? And what I have found, and I'm not the only person out there, but strategic planning is really integral into helping you create that momentum. It's really about exploring the opportunities you have, understanding where you're really taking time, and we're not going to stew over it. We're going to look at where we feel or think we are in that moment, but really taking a moment to kind of understand, like, okay, what is currently working? What is not currently working? What are our opportunities? And then how do we take that information and turn it into some clear priorities for moving forward? Strategic planning, I think, if you come from a corporate environment, you've been in one of these, you've been involved in kind of one of these, what I would call the protracted corporate strategic planning processes, tend to be very burdensome, very, they take a long time. They involve a lot of different input. This is about you just getting to work, just creating a clear roadmap for yourself. We're not going to take in everybody's input in this process. We're going to focus on what do you need, what is going to work for you, and that's that's really what it is. I think one of the problems that, or well, there's several problems I think that a lot of us struggle with as business owners, right? And I'm sure you've been there. I know I have. But one of them is, when you don't have a plan, you're not sure what to focus on next, right? What is actually going to help you move forward? And that feeling of uncertainty, that's where a lot of our angst comes from. That's where a lot of our, we talk about things like there's all these buzzwords like uh, perfection paralysis is one of them. We feel like, oh, we have to get very detailed and understand everything, every underlying factor, and make sure we're doing things perfectly. But what that really is, it's an insecurity. It's an uncertainty, and that uncertainty can be a real block to our ability to make momentum. It makes us hesitate, second guess. And so, there's feeling uncertain. Having a plan actually helps us to remove some of that uncertainty.
Yeah. And the stress and the overwhelm that
probably
the majority of our community feels on a daily basis is directly tied to that uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. We talked about this today in our lab session after the masterclass. Distractions, right? And we were just talking about software, right? Like, which software should I use? And, there's all these choices and I don't know how to make a decision and all that. Those distractions are, I call it shiny object syndrome. I like to say that in my firm, I'm the ringmaster of the distraction circus. And, it's all about like, well, if I could do this, I could do that. And it's trying to discern all this. If you have a plan, a lot of times we can put on some blinders, set some guardrails for ourselves, and we can say, you know what? I can set that aside. I don't need to focus on that. I can get rid of those distractions and just get focused. And I think that's a great reason why we do strategic planning as well, is to set those guardrails, to know where we're going and what's not important right now.
I would also say that strategic planning is great to finally find a way to get to what you have dreamed, right? When we become architects, we become architects for a very specific reason. We want something, right? We have this image in our head of what our life will look like when we decide we want to be architects. And everybody, right? Everybody who's listening to this right now has this vision of this perfect firm, of what they want their firm and their life to look like. And very often, most of the time, our life they don't look like that at all. Right. And it's frustrating and stressful and overwhelming, but this is the process to get there. Right. This gives us the roadmap to move forward toward our dreams.
That's a great point. And there was a presentation I did a while back, and it's got a picture of this architect getting the World Architecture Foundation Award, that yellow bricky thing, and he's sitting there with it on the table and he's smiling, and the slide says, this is what you've been sold, right? You've been sold this dream that all you have to do is do the best work, and the work is going to come, you're going to be recognized and all that. And that's not the reality. The reality is that it's a lot more complicated to run your firm, and the things that you actually want to focus on that are going to get you those rewards and all that, it's not the 75%. It ends up being the 25 or 30% maybe. And the rest of what you got to worry about with running a business ends up becoming, that's where the overwhelm comes in, right? And how do you manage all that? And how do you still stay focused enough that you can get to that vision? You definitely need a plan. It's not going to happen by you sitting back and not taking control. It's going to happen by you taking control.
And you have gone through that process with me, not the entire process, but a part of that process, independently, privately. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun to dream, right? Because you get this opportunity to stop and just dream about what life can look like. But then go through a very, you guide us through a very, strategic way to get to the strategy. It's, you have a very specific framework that we're going to follow that is fun to go through.
Yeah. And I mean, a good part of that, the fun part is actually thinking about like, well, what have I accomplished? Right.
Yeah.
Why am I where I'm at? Right.
Connecting the dots.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important to celebrate those victories. And we do that in the workshop, which I think is, for me, I agree with you. That's one of the things I look forward to most when we do our strategic planning internally is we get to sit there and go back and we look at our calendars, we look at the projects we completed, and we tally it all up and we write it down. And it's like, yeah, shit, we're doing a lot of stuff here. We're doing a lot of good, this week's masterclass is going to go on our list at the end of June. So, I really enjoy that part of it. It's a lot of fun. It's also fun to kind of filter out the priorities. And that's where I hear a lot of people are frustrated, right? They have so many things that they're working on and so many different priorities to juggle. And what we've learned
I sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to just mention this. Since we announced the program, I've gotten several emails saying, I have so much to do. I'm overwhelmed. And now with this masterclass, it was so good. Now there's so much to execute on. I'm even got more things to do. Should I take this workshop or should I just put it to the side and focus on getting the work done? And so what would you say to those? Because I got several responses like that.
Sure. So what we're going to do next week is the next step, right? We've done some filtering this week a little bit, right? We said these are some things that we need to elevate, delegate, automate, let go of. And that just doesn't happen because we wrote it down. We actually have to have a plan for that. In some cases, I know some people have already taken action, and that's great. Other people,
a lot of people did.
And other people are like probably sitting there going, this is a bigger thing than just calling somebody up and saying, hey, I'm not doing that anymore, or even just stopping something. So there are priorities that you probably uncovered this week that you're sitting there thinking, well, how am I going to find time for this? And that's where strategic planning is really important, right? Because what I don't want to happen is I don't want to be talking to some of the people that were in this process this week, a month from now, 2 months from now, and then hearing them say, yeah, that was really great, but I just didn't really do anything with it, right?
Right.
Strategic planning is going to give you a roadmap to actually take what you learned this week. And even if you didn't take the masterclass this week, even if you didn't do that,
it's not a prerequisite.
Yeah, it's not a prerequisite. But if you did, and you're wondering, well, why should I do this? It's for that exact reason. Let's put that in action now. Let's take the next step. Let's map out where you're going to go with delegating, elevating, automating, letting go. What is going to need to happen in the next 90 days, a year, 3 years? And that's the other thing we haven't talked about. This is giving you a long-term picture.
Yeah.
A lot of people we're in Texas when I did the 90 days and 90 minutes. That was just taking a look at the next 3 months. We're going to look beyond that. We're going to look at 3 years, a year from now. Where do you want to be? And what's going to need to happen for you to get there? It's not just about what are the steps, but also what is the goal? Like if we were, we talk about measurables in this workshop. We're going to ask you to create measurables. Like, I want to grow my income by 30% within a year. Okay. Well, what measurables are going to help you get to that number?
Yeah.
What are the steps you got to take to get those measurables? It's all about just, it sounds simplistic, but, just like an architect would look at, like, hey, I want to build this beautiful house. They got to look at like, okay, what are all the materials that are going to go into that? What are all the steps? It's very similar to planning a project and creating kind of a roadmap for how that's going to happen. In this case, I have a very good framework. It's a proven framework. I won't take full credit for it. I have adapted it, but it's something that a lot of people use every 90 days to create success for themselves. So,
Yeah, and we've designed it so it's not going to take up a lot of your life. Yes, it's 3 weeks, but the first session on Monday is a 2-hour session. So there's a big, intensive web seminar, and then there's going to be some action steps that you're going to take, and then we have Thursday planned 60 minutes. Thursday is planned to do the work, right? So you're going to have 60 minutes to do the work with us. So don't be afraid of saying, I can't take that because I can't do the extra homework that's going to come along with it.
Everything you're going to need to do, we can do in the time frame that we've got.
That's important.
So the sessions on Thursdays are really just to clarify things. Like if you have questions, if you're like struggling with something, we'll workshop that. But most of the stuff you're going to be following along, just like we did in Texas. Everybody that did that in Texas, they got their 90-day plan in 90 minutes. Actually, less. We actually came in less. We had a lot of time for Q&A afterwards.
Yeah.
So
we do a two-hour session on Monday, then a 60-minute on Thursday, then the following Monday a 90-minute second seminar. So there's a second seminar.
Yeah.
And then the Thursday, another 60-minute session. And then the third week, we originally had it scheduled on the 29th, which someone very kindly pointed out was Memorial Day. So it's Tuesday. Tuesday for 60 minutes for the review. So go through the work that you've done throughout the week on that Tuesday, the 30th. We'll actually go through the plan with you. Give some feedback, sort of how do you tweak it, and then a final work session on the final Thursday on the 1st of June, and then you'll be done. You'll be able to execute and implement on June 1st.
And most, I'm guessing most people even be before that, because they'll have gone through this. If they're paying attention during the sessions, they'll have most of this ironed out. The main thing we want to do is in the work sessions, in the seminar sessions, I'm going to walk you through everything. You're going to have I'm going to ask you to, get the worksheet. If you can, print it out or put it on your iPad, whatever. I like to do it on my iPad. I'm probably going to share my iPad and I'm going to be writing along with you, but I'm going to be walking you through all the steps, everything you need to think about, and helping you fill that out. The Thursday sessions are really going to be more Q&A. Hey, does this look right? Can you help me? I'm stuck, that kind of thing. And, so I would say that the two seminar sessions are really the ones that you want to, if you can't make some of the others, those are the ones you want to be there for, because we're going to do that work right there in those sessions.
Can you talk a little bit about what each one of those sessions, because it's not just a continuation from week to week, it's actually two separate business seminars.
Yeah. So the first one, we're going to focus more on some of the bigger picture things. This is kind of like what I would call the outlook or the vision of your business. We're going to get clarity on who your clients are. Get some an understanding of some of the things that you're already doing. Clarify that. If you have core values, we're going to just make sure that those are written down on that paper so that we always have them in front of us. We're going to talk a little bit about your ideal clients. We're going to talk a little bit about your marketing strategy. We're going to talk about where you want to be in 10 years. Then we're going to, the second part of that will be the 3-year plan. So we'll look at where you want to be in 3 years from now. what kind of revenue you want to be making. What does that look like? Are you spending, 6 weeks on the beach every year? Or are you, able to leave your business for 30 days, right? These are the types of things we'll talk about. Like, how do you want to change in 3 years? The second seminar is going to shift more to the 1 year outlook. And then we'll spend most of the time working on our 90-day plan. That's what we did in Texas as well. We worked on the 90-day plan. And that's where we're gonna get really serious about, okay, what are the things that we need to be working on in our business? So this is not about client work. This is not about other people's problems. This is about your figuring out what you need to do to move your firm forward in the next 90 days. And we're going to set some priorities. Priorities in this case means, they're probably the bigger projects that might take 20, 40, maybe 60 hours out of the quarter over that 12-week period. So we're going to define some priorities that are going to move your firm forward. I did this training with a lot of people know John Jones. In this
he's
community.
In the comments right now. He's
watching us, and John can probably attest to this. We did this, I think it was a couple of years ago. I led a group through this process. I think John set a goal. Hey, I want to have the best quarter ever. He had a numeric goal that he wanted to achieve. And this process helped them achieve that. And then, as far as I'm aware, I think John achieved that again the following quarter when he did this on his own. Yep. So I think it's.
And then John also shared that in Austin, he set another goal, personal health goal.
Yeah, that's right.
And in 90 days, hit that as well.
Yeah. So this doesn't have to be about your business. It can also be applied to life. Absolutely. I have a coaching group that I work with. We had somebody in that group. He came into the group and he was like, I want to get my website done. I've had this website for 2 years, haven't done anything with it. Somebody else set it up for me. He's like, I can't edit it. I don't know what to do. He's like, I want to get a new website. I'm just going to do it on Squarespace, but I want to get it done. He went through the plan. He set out his goals. His website was done in 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like that.
In fact, Bryon, I mentioned earlier that I went through some of the training with you. This program that we talk about Meta, this program that we're talking about right now, from the masterclass to the lab to the business accelerator, is all as a result of the plan that we started to develop when we got back from Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, this is coming right along. I mean, and that's what we should be celebrating, that victory. I want you to do this along with us, Mark. You're going to celebrate that victory as well. So.
I will. And that's actually, you mentioned that is something that I'm going to do, because Jeff Eccles is going to host it. And so Jeff will host it. You'll be the instructor. And so I'm going to be in the audience. I'm going to be there every day, and I'm going to be participating right along with you. And so I'm going to do it for EntreArchitect and Gable, and my own personal life, because there's a lot of things that I want to accomplish, that these two pieces are all integrated. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and it's always fun when we do it. I had a blast doing it in Austin. It was a really good time. A lot of people, approached me afterwards. You'll see on the landing page, we should probably mention that again. It's architectbusinessschool.com/plan. Pretty simple, easy to remember.
And actually, architectbusinessschool.com will go direct now. I just reset it, so it goes directly there.
Perfect.
Architectbusinessschool.com will go directly. If you link architectbusinessschool.com in Facebook has it'll link you back to the masterclass. But it's been reset, architectbusinessschool.com or .com/plan, either one will get you there. We'll throw it in the comments right here in this video if you want to check it out. Oh,
Yeah, but
and we have a discount code too.
oh, that's right.
If you register before Sunday night, before the end of Sunday night, right? So this starts Monday. This Monday it starts, and that's strategic as well. If you want to do this, we want you to just commit and go do it, right? We don't want you to think for a week about it and then mull it. Just if you're going to do it, do it. Sign up right now, architectbusinessschool.com/plan, and use coupon code plan 250. Plan 250. Doesn't matter if they're capital or lowercase, it all works. Plan 250 is a code to save $250 when you register at business school, architectbusinessschool.com, architectbusinessschool.com/plan. And if you've been in the lab, go check the lab channel in the network, because there's a different code that will save you even more because you're a lab member. So if you're a member of the ArchOS lab, go to the network, sign into the channel, grab that code, and everybody else plan 250 and go register.
The other thing I wanted to mention too is that I think, and this came up in our discussion earlier, this workshop is not like a one-time, you just do it once and then, oh, I've got my strategic plan and I don't need to do anything else. What I'm trying to teach you is a process. You're going to get a workbook. You can use that workbook forever. You can, well, until you retire at least, but then you can even use it in retirement, to be honest. But you can use that workbook and apply this to your business every quarter. That I'm trying to teach you a skill. I'm not just trying to give you a deliverable. I'm trying to teach you a skill that will help you in your business. And I think that's an important point to take away from this. This is gonna. I will tell you, I've been doing strategic planning since. Well, we have Kelly and I both have. I think since early 2017, every 90 days, and it's helped us immensely. We were at a point where we were like, let's just go look for jobs. We don't need to run an agency. Let's, this is too much work. It's not going the direction we want.
I know somebody who might want to hire you.
Yeah. But then we started working with a coach. We got introduced to this system, and we turned everything around. We started working with architects around that time. I connected with you. One of my goals on one of my strategic plans was to get on some podcasts. I knew exactly which podcasts I wanted to contact first, and I contacted you. And the one thing led to another. So I've been working towards my goals ever since. I learned this process, and it's helped immensely. It hasn't solved every problem. It's always a work in progress, but I'd probably be in a very different place if I wasn't doing strategic planning like this. So yeah.
It's been inspiring to watch you grow, watch Archmark grow.
Thank you.
And I said this earlier in the masterclass, you have dedicated yourself to this community of small firm architects throughout the world. And you're an ally and a friend, and you've done a lot of good. You've really changed a lot of people's lives from the work that you and Kelly do. And so thank you for being there and for being so persistent and making sure that you impact the lives of the people in this community.
No, I thank you. I don't know what else to say. That's very, very nice of you to say.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's from the heart. So why don't we wrap things up here? Actually, let's just see if there's any other comments here. John said the TCAM 90-day challenge helped me quickly realize I needed to work on biz dev, and it worked. Awesome. And I posted like 3 different links to the session that were wrong and deleted them, and finally got the right one in. So if you saw me typing away while you were talking before, I was trying to put the link in there and kept putting in the wrong link. So it's there now. architectbusinessschool.com/plan, plan 250 to save $250. It starts Monday. Go register. You won't regret it. Even if you don't think you have time, we'll help you through that. It's going to be a very efficient process. And when you're at the other end of that, right, when you come out of the tunnel at the other end, you're going to be way more efficient, way more effective, and it'll be worth every penny and every amount of time that you invest. So go do it. architectbusinessschool.com/plan. Anything else, Bryon?
I can't think of anything. I mean, I think we covered it all. Just to help you understand the difference between the packages. So there's the Accelerator only, and then there's the Accelerator, plus strategic consulting. So in the Accelerator,
who would be the perfect person for the consulting, and maybe explain what that is and why we.
So the consulting is you're going to get some one-on-one time with me. That's the big advantage of it, and it's limited. I can't do this for everybody, so we've got limited spots on that. But what we're going to do is, after we go through this process and you have your strategic plan, I'm going to spend an hour. I'm going to review that with you. I'm gonna help review the priorities that you've defined and make sure that those are either SMART or great goals. We'll talk about the difference in the seminar or in the Accelerator. But I'm gonna meet with you. I'm gonna review your plan. I'm gonna help you refine those goals so that they are SMART or great. And then I'm going to also help you with what we call the priority planner. So that's where we're going to break down those priorities into smaller chunks so that you can manageably achieve those goals over the 90-day period that we're gonna plan out. Over that 90 days, I'll certainly, like, if you have questions, we can kind of go back and forth on email or in Slack. But then 90 days later, we're going to review. We're going to come back. We're going to spend another hour. We're going to review your progress and see where you've come. So we're going to have some accountability in there, hold you accountable for achieving those goals. And if you didn't achieve them, we're going to debug why. So we're going to try to get you some feedback on maybe how to improve your goals the next time, or how to make more time, how to set aside time for those priorities. So I have a like I said, I have a coaching cohort, a small group coaching cohort that I do this with every 90 days. We go through strategic planning. And the accountability is probably one of the things that they really appreciate most, because it holds them to it and keeps them on track. They don't like to disappoint me, and they want to achieve those goals. So we work really hard to make sure that they do. Yeah.
And so there's two options. You can register for either one. The one is the program itself. Right. So the full thing, you get everything in the Business Accelerator option. And that's valued at $1,500. So if you went to Bryon and said, can you do this for me or with me? It'd probably be even more than that, but it's valued at about $1,500 to do the thing that Bryon's doing with us. And if you did the consulting, it's $3,000 plus, right? $3,000 or more to do that one-on-one with him for a couple of calls and some access. So it's like a VIP exclusive access to Bryon if you want the consulting side, and you get everything else too, right? You get the full Business Accelerator and the additional consulting with Bryon. So if you wanted some alone time with Bryon, you can sign up for consulting, and that's all there. And so I think that's it, right, Bryon?
I think we've covered pretty much everything we wanted to discuss. If you have questions, well, this brings up a good point, Mark.
I'll put you in the group.
All right.
In the group.
So if you put me in the group, if you guys have questions,
post them in the comments right below here.
Tag me in the comments, and I'll be able to respond to those. So I finally got in. All right.
After all these years. So Bryon, we're going to officially make him part of the EntreArchitect team. So he's going to be in there to help moderate a little bit, maybe, and also answer any questions that you may have. He's an ally. So I welcome you. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments below here, tag Bryon, and we'll see you. We'll see you on Monday.
Yeah.
Go register, architectbusinessschool.com/plan.
I look forward to seeing everybody.
All right. We'll see you there.
All right.
Thanks, Bryon. Have a great weekend. We'll
You
talk
too.
soon. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye.